Hey guys, this is Omer from MMOs.com doing a quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news and announcements for the week ending March 19th, 2018. This is number 139 of the recap, and the first bit of news this week comes from EverQuest from Daybreak Games. EverQuest is celebrating its 19-year anniversary this month by hosting a handful of in-game events, the most important of which is a 50% bonus experience event, which runs from March 16th to the 31st, but it's also launching a new progression server titled QueerNav. First of all, 19 years and still running is pretty damn impressive. I imagine EverQuest is older than many people watching this video today. And as with previous progression servers on EverQuest, you do need to have an active all-access membership to play on it, which is unfortunate because the progression servers are mega fun and mega populated, but you need to pay to access them. Next up, also progression server related, Trine Worlds announced patch 4.5, which launched on April 5th and adds 2 new progression servers to the game. The update itself is titled ArcheAge Legends and introduces new customizable dragon mounts, which can be used as battle mounts. The update also includes new major world bosses and balance changes to numerous classes. And unlike progression servers in other games, the 2 new progression servers on ArcheAge are available to everyone for free. Although players can pre-order Legends Return entry packs to secure player names before the official launch, but remember again, it's completely optional. The actual progression servers will be available for free to everyone, which is nice. Up next, Project Gorgon launched onto Steam Early Access this last week and is widely available to play for the first time. This one is an ambitious indie MMORPG with quite a bit of depth to it. The game features a skill-based leveling system similar to games like Legend of Aria and older games like RuneScape and Ultima Online. In fact, many design elements here are inspired by oldies, so expect a bit more of a hardcore experience like older games like Ultima Online and RuneScape. The game is available on Steam for around $40 and has over 200 players online as of this video, which ain't too shabby for an indie title. It still is in Early Access though, so expect many more updates in the near future. Next up, we got some more details on the previously announced 12-man raid for Blade & Soul titled Coltrex's Lair, which goes live on March 21st and features new quick-time event mechanics, which could be really cool if done well. The raid itself is open to players level 55 and will be open 5 times a day, with players earning rewards based on how much damage they contribute during the fight. The Fire and Blood update also includes a new costume, a new pet, and more. Up next, Ubisoft announced a launch date for their upcoming persistent open-world driving MMO called The Crew 2, which will be launching on June 29th as a full-price retail game. So it'll set you back about $60. It'll be available on PC as well as consoles. Still, there really aren't too many racing MMOs out there anyway. Anyone remember oldies like Drift City or even Need for Speed World? Rip those 2 games. But at least we'll have The Crew 2 now to look forward to if you like racing games. Speaking of buy-to-play games, Snell Games announced that PixArk, their voxel-based Ark Survival Evolved spin-off, will be launching on Steam and Xbox on March 27th. The core gameplay is expected to be very similar to Ark, but with Trove and Minecraft-like voxel visuals. The game has over 100 dinosaurs to tame, train and ride, character progression and customization, as well as procedurally generated worlds, and much more. I actually really like the voxel look for the game, so I do want to give it a try. I'm a sucker for the Trove and Minecraft visuals, so we'll see how this one does. Next up, Dauntless is still alive and is a thing. The free-to-play Monster Hunter-esque game added behemoth-specific war pikes, new X combos, and a new way to explore the game's world with its most recent patch. There's also a bunch of audiovisual enhancements, quality of life changes, and an improved tutorial system for new players. Dauntless is definitely unique in the free-to-play universe, but until it officially launches later this year, you still need to buy a Founders Pack to play it. It's basically a free-to-play Monster Hunter game, or even a game like Soul Worker and Vindictus, except with just bosses. So the core gameplay is actually fun. You're just fighting bosses, and every time you fight a boss for the first time, it's cool because you have to actually learn the fight. But yeah, the game hopefully should be launching later this year. Next, Black Desert Online rolled out 2 new features after this week's regularly scheduled maintenance period. You have revamped enlightenment skills and new team battles. So the way it seems to work is that players can combine main weapon skills to create newly enhanced skills. Basically, main and sub skills can be combined to create new enhanced abilities. Also, the new battle system is similar to final battles, but without the need for guilds. And for those curious, Black Desert Online is still absolutely killing it. The game averages over 15,500 players at any given time on Steam alone, so it's doing really well. Also, in other Black Desert related news, the game's Xbox One website and forums officially went live this last week as well, and the game itself on Xbox is set to launch later in 2018. They said late 2018, so it still might be a while, but they are at least making progress. The official site is up. Moving right along, also in console related news, Tera announced and completed its second open beta test on consoles this week, which ran just this last weekend. It managed to introduce a lot of tweaks and optimizations to the console version of the game, and even raised the game's level cap to 58. And players who logged in for the second open beta test actually get a permanent blue halo in the game, which is a nice fun cosmetic. And now that the second open beta has ended, we have to wait a bit longer to play again. And from what I've seen, the console version of Tera has been pretty popular, and given that the controls are action-oriented, I think it makes a lot of sense. But no word on when an official release date is coming for the console version now that Open Beta 2 has ended. But we should hear something pretty soon. Next up, Epic Games confirmed this week that their incredibly popular Battle Royale game Fortnite will be Xbox One cross-platform compatible with iOS, Android, and PC. So basically, we now know for sure that Fortnite will be cross-platform compatible across basically every single console and platform. It'll be on PC, it'll be on Mac, Xbox One, PS4, and Android and iOS, which is insane. I'm curious to see how the game is going to do on mobile as well, because we haven't seen a full Battle Royale style game on here. We've seen PUBG Mobile, Knives Out, Rules of Survival, and a few other games, but nothing that was cross-platform compatible with basically everything. So I'm curious to see how that's going to do. Up next, some interesting Olympics-related news. The Olympics Committee for the 2024 Olympics Games discussed the possibility of inclusion of video games in the Olympic Games, but unfortunately they basically said that they want games that focus on sports rather than games that focus on violence and slaughter. So basically, if a video game makes it to the Olympics, don't expect it to be a game like CSGO, Dota, or League of Legends. Instead, it'll be something like Madden or FIFA, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Heck, I'd rather watch real sports than FIFA or Madden. I think if they don't change the policy, esports in the Olympics is going to be a huge letdown. And that's even if it happens. But the current thinking is basically they don't want any violence in any games that would feature in the Olympics. If it even happens, that is. But still, it's just really ridiculous that they would rule out anything with violence in it, in any which way. Next up, some stats came out this week for Warframe. Digital Extremes announced that the game hit a big milestone this week by hitting 38 million players in 5 years. That figure includes players on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And although that 38 million figure isn't too meaningful by itself, Warframe remains one of the most popular free-to-play games out there, averaging over 47,000 players online at any given time on Steam alone. Digital Extremes also released a few unique graphics showing the game's changed over the last 5 years, with the number of weapons in the game increasing from basically 139 the first year up to 332 weapons today. Next, a bit of a controversial move by Valve this week. They introduced a new optional subscription for Dota 2 called Dota Plus, which is priced at $3.99 a month and includes a bunch of new account progression items and cosmetics, which in and of itself isn't controversial, but the optional subscription also includes a new real-time assistant, which provides items and build suggestions on the fly based on millions of games that Valve has analyzed. And the suggestions are also tailored towards your skill level, so it can provide a big information advantage. It's not exactly pay to win in high tiers, but in low and mid tiers, that kind of information advantage can make a big difference with, kind of meh players. If it works out for Valve, I won't be surprised to see League of Legends implement a similar system, but we'll see. Next up, Blizzard announced a new expansion for Hearthstone titled The Witchwood, which is set to launch in April and will add 135 new cards to the game. The update also adds 2 new neutral legendary cards that features a new even and odd cost mechanic, where players are rewarded with upgraded hero powers if they build a deck with only even or odd cost cards. So if you build a deck with only odd cost cards, your hero power gets a boost, and if you build a deck with only even cost cards, your hero power only costs 1 mana. It's actually a really cool mechanic, and say what you will about Hearthstone's RNG, the game is quite fun, especially with how many new and fun mechanics they've added to the game over the years. Next and last bit of news this week is from Nexon, and they just launched a new mobile strategy RPG this week called Masters of Eternity, or just MOE. I have a feeling they just wanted to use the acronym MOE and slap a bunch of cute anime girls into the game, but hey, why not? The game was first announced in late 2015 and is finally available to everyone worldwide. From the looks of it, it looks like another grid-based tactics RPG, similar to Fire Emblem Heroes and Alchemia story. Anyway guys, that's it for MMO News this week. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast. I'll see you then. Later guys.